Recently, the West Genesee High School marching band went on a trip to New York City to compete for a marching band tournament. I boarded the dim bus early in the morning with my camera ready to film the trip. I was very excited for this trip and had been looking forward to it for weeks. As morning turned into day, I became more excited and gained a sense of comfort knowing I was surrounded by all the friends I had known and met in my high school years, and my girlfriend Allison, who had met in marching band. The trip was long, but we managed to have fun and keep ourselves preoccupied as kids usually do. After a decent amount of time traveling, the buses stopped and let us off to walk to a mall's food court where the entire marching band ate and socialized more comfortably. A few friends and I stopped at a Wendy's to get some burgers. We sat at a table where we ate and laughed together. After eating, we loaded back onto the buses and continued our journey watching the Avengers and then stopping to practice. After the short practice, we boarded and left for the hotel, which was a very comfortable Days Inn that had a cool, glowy glass thing. My 3 roommates and I walked up the stairs because 160 kids and only 4 elevators doesn't work out very well, and arrived at our room. It was a cozy room that had a window view just outside of New York City, out of which we saw a hubcap. Seeing how high we were above the streets, a short video idea came into my head, and with the help of my friends, we had finished it within a few minutes. Dinner approached, and we 3 headed up the elevator into the dining hall, and with wonderful dinner music, my friends and I ate our meals while we fooled around a bit. But there was little time to waste because we had a marching band show that night at the MetLife Stadium, and we looked oh so spiffy in our unicorn uniforms. I have no video of the performance, but it went something like this. By a tenth of a point, which is good. We got back to the hotel and had a big fiesta full of dancing and fun. I have no video of that either. And back to our hotel rooms to relax for the night. We ended up watching a bit of TV before going to bed at 2 and waking up at 7. Not the smartest idea, but hey. The following morning, we all hopped on the buses again, heading off to New York City for some city fun. My buddies and I formed a little group and headed off to Times Square. We all had to see the large Toys R Us store there. It was actually very large and filled me with childlike wonder that I only feel in large toy stores with flying helicopters and Lego statues. It was here that I bought a Rip Rolls, which was very delicious by the way, and a pair of Skull Candy headphones which I used as I typed up this little commentary. After Toys R Us, it was off to see Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, which I'm not allowed to film either. But I went ahead and filled the curtain anyway.
It was good, please.
I was very grateful to be able to see the musical thanks to the money that the marching band raised. It dawned on me here that teamwork isn't just our show, but we all work together to raise money to work together on our performance. It's like teamwork within teamwork or something. Anyway, after the action-packed day, the band headed back to the buses. There's a lot of bussing around on this trip. Before traveling back to the hotel, we stopped to look at the Statue of Liberty at a distance and the American Merchant Mariners Memorial. Both of these, by the way, really put into perspective how much this country has been through. After boarding the buses again, we passed Ground Zero, and as we passed, everyone became silent almost instinctively, knowing the struggles that the people had been through. This also put our country's hardship into perspective. We went directly back to the hotel, and I went directly to my room to sleep and let the long weekend catch up to me. My camera ran out of battery before we got on the buses the next morning, but I can still remember the ride home being enjoyable and a bit of a blur. Looking back on the ride, it is now that I realize that the fun parts were not the only fun parts, but the boring parts were some of the most enjoyable parts, and they were the parts that I want to remember and experience again in my life. I love being a marching band, and I cannot wait for next season.